extra credits, if you will, for purchasing are things that if you do have specific purchasing practices to your business or organization, this is the place to kind of showcase those that are not covered in the previous credits. So, one for us was purchasing goods for sale in our gift shop that promote reusability. So we sell Sierra Nevada branded Chico bags, Sierra Nevada branded clean canteens, trying to kind of push this reusability with our consumers. Not push it, encourage it. But we also give clean canteens and Chico bags to every single new hire. And that money comes out of our recycling budget. So the revenue that we get from recycling, we earmark that for things like Chico bags and clean canteens to give to all new hires.
Don't you guys sell kegs too?
Yeah.
There's lots of priorities.
So this was a different one. Again, it's not covered in the previous purchasing, but this is a way to get credit for those things. So we purchase recycled motor oil for our fleet of trucks. We also purchase retreaded tires. Instead of brand new tires, you can get retreaded tires. And then we have a fleet with electric vehicles and hybrids and trying to use our purchasing power to promote alternative vehicles. And then I talked about this on my tour, I think Mandy probably did too. We purchased property and built a rail spur, and we are railing in raw materials. And I told my tour crew, this is one of the ones, this was a huge investment. There's a lot of money to build a rail spur. It paid for itself really quickly because it's so efficient and so cost effective. But Mandy and I completely forgot about it when we did our narrative. I mean, we spent millions of dollars on this, and we're reducing our transportation impact so dramatically by using our bulk purchasing power, and forgot about it.
Well, and that's a great example of the value of the audit for U.S. Zero Waste Business Council coming out on site. It's not just about the data and the numbers and the descriptions. It's having another set of eyes looking at things and really working as a team to get you the best score because we want to promote those practices elsewhere. Could you mention the boneyard, Ken's admonition about the boneyard?
We do have a boneyard. We will never get rid of the boneyard. In fact, the boneyard still has our original bottling equipment from when we had built the brewery 30 plus years ago. So the boneyard, we collect all kinds of equipment, tanks, pipes, anything. No, we might be able to reuse that somewhere. So it's just kind of rusting out in the field now.
And what we found in the audit is their president, Ken Grossman, had told everyone, before you buy anything, go out to the boneyard and see if something will work or can be manufactured, fabricated or refabricated out of some of the stuff there. And that was just such a cool story. We just loved it. In a similar vein, I was trying to get Mad River Brewing Company to come here for this event, and had some email traffic with them, and came to find out on their website, if you look Google Mad River Brewing Company and look about and their history, they started with the used equipment from the original Sierra Nevada Brewing Company.
Which was used when we started using it. They're actually old dairy tanks that can re-welded into brew kettles, into the brew house, and that are still operational at Mad River.
And meanwhile, Cherie's going out to all these craft brewing association meetings, getting other brewers to get into this. So if you have any brewers, microbrewers or larger brewers, they're great targets for zero waste. So our next category, any questions on that last one, on purchasing? Okay, leadership. This is, we're getting into some of the credits where we're, again, going beyond the whole idea of accounting and diversion counting and all that, and really trying to talk about the culture change that is needed to get to zero waste. And the culture change in the Recycling Resource Management Training Program in Southern California, funded by the U.S. Department of Labor, one of the 4 courses they teach was on culture change of zero waste, because it was so important a concept to get at. And so there are a number of tools we've embedded in the scorecard that are trying to get at how do you change the culture of an organization. And they're particularly in leadership, and the next category is training. Under leadership, the first is having a zero waste goal. Second is having upper management review. Third is recognizing and rewarding and awarding people who contribute significantly. Third is take-back programs for your own products and packaging, and the next is take-back programs for your suppliers. And then the final is looking at going beyond your own boundaries to encourage and promote zero waste elsewhere. And examples given: beach and stream cleanups, community involvement, things of that nature. For the first one, looking at the adopted goal, one of the big questions as we were developing the scorecard was if you aren't able to get a company-wide goal adopted, can you get this credit? And so we really struggled with what to include in there, and the way we phrased it is the goal is adopted by upper management at a facility, region, district, or company-wide. And we're thinking that that's for version 1.0 of this system. Over time, this will become just embedded that company-wide, companies will adopt it. But for this early stage of early adoption, you may have a particular facility, a particular region that has the infrastructure in place locally that would allow for moving forward and embodies and embraces the zero waste goal. So that's the way that's phrased for that reason. One of the most easy ways of doing this is throw it in a sustainability or climate change plan. Don't bring it up as a whole separate topic. If your company is doing a climate change or sustainability plan, social responsibility plan, even efficiency, or think creatively what plans are going on, that the next major corporate strategic plan you're doing, and get zero waste goal in there. Even if it's a one-liner, that's incredibly empowering, because if you get that one-liner in there, then you can go on and cite that for getting a more detailed zero waste program going as part of it. If you don't have it as a company-wide goal, explain how it meets other company goals, and even if you are getting it as a company-wide, it's helpful to highlight all the benefits there throughout the company, so you're reinforcing that it's not only the standalone issue, but it contributes to your sustainability policies, and to your community policies, your corporate social responsibility, etc. And we ideally ask that you use the definition of the Zero Waste International Alliance. That's basically a new addition. We haven't been pushing that message as hard until about a year or two ago. So for this version 1.0, we're not pushing that real hard, but we would certainly like you in the future, now that you know how important it is to use this vehicle to fight for the brand, because that's what's at stake. You'll embrace that and do that in any new goals that are adopted hereforth. Examples that are given in the Zero Waste Solution book that I have on the table, the latest hot book out on explaining zero waste by Dr. Paul Conant. He highlighted a quote that we had provided to him from Gunther Pauli, who was the head of the ZERI, Zero Emissions Research and Initiatives, and he came to speak to a number of conferences in California, including CRA, I believe it was in 2006. And at that time, he reported that he was hired by the Japanese government to set up ZERI with a $10 million grant to figure out how to get to zero waste and help businesses get there. And that in 2004, they had a conference to see how well they had done, and he reported that 2,800 businesses in Japan had adopted the zero waste as a goal. 99% had achieved zero waste to landfill, which they had set as a higher priority. And a third had achieved zero waste to incinerators as well, and the rest were going to be working on that as well. It really underscores the power of the goal to hit home and get everyone involved in moving forward towards zero waste.
So our zero waste goal, a ton of text there, but basically our zero waste goal, there's two main drivers. One is environmental health, so protecting environmental health, eliminating waste from going to landfill, and then the other main component is saving money. Throwing things in the landfill is expensive, but it also contributes to our personal health. By saving money, we get to keep our jobs and keep the benefits associated with our jobs. By preventing environmental pollution, we all get to enjoy cleaner air, clean water, healthy soils. Our zero waste goal specifically is not just for solid waste. It's very clear in our orientation as I talk about the zero waste goal. The zero waste goal applies to all of the resources that we use. It applies to energy, water, time, parts, labor, beer, paper. Everything that we use is a resource that we've spent money on. You cannot waste money and expect to be successful. So wasting resources is the same as wasting money. So our zero waste goal is specific for all of the resources that we use here. Continued. So part of our tracking and our metrics, so this includes spent grain. Okay, so again, I'm not left-handed. I try to be sometimes, pretend to be. So again, you're looking at a half-point spread here, 99.5 up to 100%. Like I said, it's really hard to get excited about 1/10%, but we do. So, we're all over the place, but not really. We from 99.6 down to 99.85. Paying attention to what's going on at your facility changes things. So this, for example, construction. Construction can make or break you, depending on what type of construction it is and what type of C&D debris it is. So this one includes spent grain, and then I think, did I put one in for excluding? Okay, so tracking your utilities cost is also important. So this was, I don't know at what point we cut this off in 2013, but landfill disposal is considered and looked at every single month by our management group. They're looking at the previous KPI as well as this one. Landfill disposal only makes up about 1% of our total utilities cost when you're looking at electricity, water, natural gas. So, it'd be interesting to do that and see where you fall. And if landfill contribution makes up, a significant portion, that's an easy target to cut your cost right there. Key performance indicators, KPI.
Okay, so the third leadership credit is for incentives and recognition for zero waste. Suggestion awards programs are an example. In RICO, they actually provide monetary rewards for people who come up with good suggestions on how to get to zero waste. Different ways of structuring that. Sometimes some companies have all the money that comes out of recycling revenue donated to local charities. I know one consulting firm had it for employee parties, for pizza and holiday parties, because it wasn't that much money. Recognition with larger team building events. This company picnic is a picture again at RICO where they were asked to build stuff out of the discards that they didn't have markets for. So they were asked to build kites out of all these materials that were left over from their operation. And it was just another way of getting across, pay attention to the detail and trying to think creatively and outside the box. The goal at RICO is 100% participation, and they had the Plus program there, where Plus means people are doing well, and Plus means they have opportunities for improvement. That's the leadership credit there. One of the credits we're talking about is in recognition. Sheree, why don't you describe what this picture is?
This is our certification, when we were actually awarded with our certification plaque.
And
It's out on the mezzanine.
and who are those people in the audience?
We had kind of a nice distinguished group of people. We had somebody from our legislature's office. We had our Chico Chamber of Commerce was here. A couple city council members were here, as well as other local businesses in the area.
Any media?
Yeah, two or three, I think, TV media and one or two print media were here as well.
Right, so this was a real event that there really hadn't been recognition in this way before, as I understand it, with the staff of the company. So a lot of the different departments from the company came out, and quite a few people in the audience are the staff here at Sierra Nevada. And it's those types of recognition that is also part of what we're encouraging, and we provide a vehicle for through the certification, but also you could do it as birthday events, Recyclist Days events. We now have Zero Waste Week in March. Great opportunities to let people know how you're doing, have a special event, a team building exercise to move forward in these ways. Responsibility, take-back programs. This is an area that is a little bit out of the box for some of the zero waste world, and there's a lot of gray areas about what is needed to be done and how it should be done. But the basic idea is business taking physical and or financial responsibility for the products and packaging produced and or marketed under all the company brands. It could be done by taking back products, packaging from consumers, particularly those that are difficult to reuse, recycle, or compost. An example here at Sierra Nevada is one that Sue was asking about earlier. You do kegs, don't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, and how does that work for you? Do you think it's a good idea?
I have kegs at home.
Yeah, kegs, the sustainability department, Cherie advocates for the kegs. It's the most sustainable package, and they get a lot of good cooperation from the colleges, I understand. Is that right?
They are the most sustainable form of packaging, but only if you're not using the stupid red party cups, guys. No red party cups.
Okay. Okay, then beyond your own products is requiring suppliers to take responsibility for products, and this is where that RICO, refuse and return idea comes in. How do you require your suppliers to take financial responsibility for the products that you get from them? And it could be done in the bid specs or purchase orders. That all you have to do is put a little clause in there. You'll take this back. When you buy a new computer, you say, okay, you take back your old computer, and all of a sudden that problem's gone for you.
And the packaging. And the packaging.
And so you know, that's a great example where the power of purchasing for zero waste is what we're trying to get out here for things that are particularly difficult to deal with. Walmart. Anybody hear of Walmart? A little company down the street here. Down most every street, it seems. But a couple of years ago, they adopted zero waste as a goal. And how do you think they decided they would achieve zero waste? Pardon? By their suppliers. They turned to the suppliers and said, "We're for zero waste. How are you going to do it?" And they put it all on their suppliers. And now they're reporting what, 80%? They're up there. They're not at 90 yet, but for world's largest retailer, not so bad to have on our side. And they've worked with the suppliers and partners to not only figure out what the current system is, but as zero wasters, try to change the system, redesign things, drive progress in packaging reduction. And this one example that we gleaned from some resource was in 2011 they eliminated 1 billion feet of wire ties and toy packaging, enough to wrap around the earth nearly 8 times. So that's a small thing, but when they're buying in such large quantities, it has a huge effect. And the major thing